Then after Chernobyl, because that's a dirty event, a reactor melting down is much worse than even an average hydrogen or atomic bomb going off. Unless it's jacketed in cobalt or balconium G or whatever to make it a dirty bomb. I'm not talking about a little dirty bomb where they blow up some hospital X-ray equipment. I mean a hydrogen bomb that also radiates things for 1 billion years. You know, they got those. It's called a doomsday machine. By the way, those are real. The Rand Corporation came up with it. That movie is about the real Dr. Strangelove. Continuing, though. Oh, yeah, they've got bombs that you detonate it kills the entire Earth, the radiation. 100 years underground means nothing. Our government, the Russians, they've all made them. The Chinese have made them. They've got them that go in the atmosphere and detonate, and then it's over. And I guess they're getting us warmed up for that. Some say the elites have ways to remove this from their bodies. I've done some research. I don't think that's probably true. I mean, they got a lot of hidden technology, but not that type. Look at this one out of Associated Press. Nuke agency reports unusual radiation in Europe. Well, they've registered unusual radiation here in the United States. It's gone up massively. Massively. So it doubled in the atomic testing and then basically doubled again in the Northern Hemisphere. And now they're reporting it's way above that last doubling. And what was their answer? Oh, this isotope's up a couple thousand. This is up 100,000. Dozens of different isotopes we've listed off the EPA website here for you. If you don't believe me, just type into a search engine. EPA raises level of what they say is safe. EPA raises levels of radiation for what they say safe. It'll come up for you. EPA website. Because they're magic. They just, you know, it's kind of like they could say, well, a teaspoon of cyanide will kill, you know, dozens and dozens of people, but we'll just say you can eat cyanide now and wave a wand and then you can drink it and you don't die. Because they said so. They're God. They say spying on you without warrants and lamp poles listening and watching you secretly is not Big Brother, so it's not. They say the troops after 1990 can use DU and have no decontamination or nothing and just use it in proving grounds and shooting ranges everywhere, in cities and areas all over the U.S. It's fine. Use it all over Hawaii. Use it all over Puerto Rico. Use it all over the U.S. It's fine. The troops can use it. It's fine. You can move right into a bunker bombed out by precision-guided musicians, DU tipped, and breathe it. Of course, you're going to die of lung cancer in 10, 15 years. If you're lucky, a lot of them start bleeding out the nose, kidney failure. I just ship them home. Because they said so. Here, magic wand. Magic wand. Here, it's safe. Magic wand. Here, magic wand. Doesn't matter how many nuclear physicists I have on, nuclear chemical physicists like Busby and others, who he says, and this is a top advisor to the EU, he says, now me and many colleagues believe it could be about population reduction because the elite are consciously doing this. They've got reactors all over the U.S. leaking. Now it's a minor footnote after Fukushima. In Canada, leaking serious radiation. France has had huge nuclear disasters, 2 of them in the last 3 months. They got to be releasing this stuff on purpose now. There's disasters everywhere now. And now it's just like, well, don't worry. We just raise what level's safe. Oh, your Geiger counter's picking that up? It's okay, sweetie cake. It's all right. The government loves you. Very low levels. It's very low, they say. Which are higher than normal, but doesn't seem, because they raise the level they say safe in Europe as well, to pose a health hazard, are being registered in the Czech Republic, that I guess they weren't playing ball and reported it, and elsewhere in Europe. Oh, okay. The International Atomic Energy Agency said Friday. The agency said the cause was not known, but was not the result of Fukushima's Daiichi nuclear disaster, which spread radiation across the globe in March. Yeah, because the Atomic Energy Agency is openly run and funded by the big nuclear lobby. So they're telling you, it's not our reactors that blew up over there. Of course, we got caught lying to you about that earlier, about the total meltdowns, but just it's not that, okay? Oh, is it the disasters in France? Maybe it's all the other disasters. The very low levels of iodine-131, that's fission in reactors, it's Fukushima. And it's the French disasters. So you can just go look up what's released there. You know right away. But they're like, we don't know. We're just nuclear experts. We don't know where this fingerprint came from. And, you know, Let's say I'm the iodine 131, Alex Jones, and I put my thumbprints all over everything, and they go look and go, well, that's Alex Jones, but we don't know who that is. I mean, it's 100% fission, meltdown. They know where it's coming from. It's coming from meltdowns. That's when 131 is released. And they're just like, everything's fine. Everything's wonderful. Everything's wonderful. We don't know where it's coming from, though. Maybe an Easter bunny passed gas or something. I'm sorry. The very low levels of iodine-131 have been measured in the atmosphere, the agency said in a statement. It said such radio isotope will lose much of its radiation in about 8 days. Well, everything's fine then. Just reactors belching at Brett. However, a official familiar with the matter who asked for anonymity because he was not authorized to comment said the release appeared to be continuing. Well, so what? See, now it's just an attitude of, well, for 50 years they've said don't let troops use this DU. It's an emergency weapon if the Russians pour across the Folger Gap into Germany, and we're outnumbered 10-1, and nuclear war is already happening. You get in decon suits, and these small arms can take out tanks, but you don't serve this out unless you're in a red level total meltdown, already in a nuclear war. Is that understood? That's what the manual said. 1990, they just said, you know what? Disregard all that. Have fun. Here it is. Use it, use it, use it. Oh, but it gets worse. Japanese debris to start hitting western U.S. and Canada this week. Took it 6 months to get across. The thousands of houses, everything, covered with radiation, including plutonium that lasts 1 billion+ years. It's all coming to California, and they're not going to get a Geiger counter out there to warn you. They're just going to let you die.
We all know.
Last year, when it came out that it was melamine, it's now 2 years ago, in a lot of baby formula and stuff, and the Chinese executed the heads of the companies that did it. Our government just said, no recall, melamine is not bad for children. Every study, every report, kidney damage, kidney failure, brain damage, horrible. Our government just said it's good. DU's good, radiation's good. All of this stuff is good. They are openly telling you it's all good and wonderful. And my point is it's reached the point now of just craziness. And this is why cultures collapse. Civilizations pretty much always fall in, because they develop a high level of agrarian technology, a superclass gets fat, dumb, and happy and divorced from reality and start acting like Marie Antoinette, and the entire society collapses. And I just cannot be force-fed all this patriotic worship of the troops when they say stand at a football game or stand at church or wherever and worship the troops. And I want to get up and say, okay, I'm going to stand up and say they shouldn't be using DU. Shut up, unpatriotic. It's supposed to be a hollow, worthless system of patriotism towards the corrupt bankers, not real patriotism. And that's what makes me sick about everyone getting off on the coffin and the dead troop and the crying and all this. But you tell these people, hey, you should actually worry about the troops in DU. Shut up, anti-war communist. You're like, no, I really just want to warn people. Yeah, right. Why don't you go tell Bill Clinton how much you love him? Or you're like, hey, Obama's corrupt. Shut up, racist. I heard NPR this morning with guest after guest with horror as my wife was making breakfast for the children and I. And we're sitting there and she's listening to it, and they're going, well, white people like Herman Cain because he speaks with kind of a black dialect and they like to make fun of black people. And I was like, what? And then another guy came on with the same talking point. Yeah, they like Herman Cain because, you know, he sometimes messes up his English. Well, yeah, if you actually listen to some black folks that have like kind of a real American black dialect from the South or whatever, it actually just sounds like a redneck with just a little bit of a black accent. It is a pleasing sound to somebody who's used to that cadence, but it's not because he's black. It's because he sounds like a real, regular guy. People like me because I sound like a regular guy. I'm not putting on some act, some polished Harvard thing like Obama does, and then he shows up at events and talks like, you know, to black folks and then puts on some kind of black accent. Or Hillary in Kentucky. Good to be here with you today. Glad to have you with me. And if she talked like that, that's fine. But she doesn't talk like that. It's a joke. Nothing drives me crazy when you go to a Mexican food restaurant with people, you know, gringos or whatever, and the person comes over and goes, what would you like to eat? They go, may I have taco, please? And the person's just looking at you going, what? Well, I mean, that's what Hillary does. Well, Herman Cain doesn't change how he sounds. That is something good. But he's a globalist. He's a good salesman. He's still a globalist. Folks, David Icke's coming up. I got masses of news on war, economy, the euro, they say may collapse. Yeah, collapse under the banker takeover.